5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, welcome to Focus on Disabilities. My name is Jude Smith, and I am here with
Katie Cummings with Pink Umbrella Theater Company.
Okay, I have exactly 6 questions today.
Okay.
So we must do the same. First of all, why did you create Pink Umbrella?
Well, we created Pink Umbrella in 2018 here in the city of Milwaukee because there was a need in the community. There is no professional, well, there was no professional theater company in the city of Milwaukee focused on hiring disabled actors and artists. So I started the company back in 2018 with that thought in mind that our mission would be to create accessible theater for all, with the focus on hiring people who identify with a disability to be on stage, be directors, be off stage, and hopefully the company will be fully run by individuals who identify with a disability one day.
And secondly, this is a redundant statement, but
Okay.
secondly, what is the mission or end goal, I guess, for Pink Umbrella?
Oh my goodness, I anticipated your question. Yeah, so the end goal really is for us to change the landscape of what theater looks like. I think it is to change the stories that we see on stage. And as I mentioned before, right, like our major strategic plan is for us to have a building, our own space that is accessible, that is sensory friendly, sensory immersive. And the hope is that everybody from the box office to the CEO is a person who identifies with a disability, running the development department, the marketing department, the production department, and to be as big as the company needs and wants to be.
And my third question is, why did you choose the name Pink Umbrella?
Sure. So the name does have a story. Pink is actually in honor of one of the first students that I ever had who was on the autism spectrum. Her name was Emily. And as teachers, we're not really supposed to have favorites, but she was just one of those students that just kind of jumped right into my heart from the moment that I met her. And she took classes with us at a previous job and that I had, and she used to wear bows in her hair. And a lot of times those bows were pink. Pink was one of her favorite colors, green being the other. And so pink is in honor of Emily. Emily actually passed away in 2016 due to some complications. She not only had autism, but she also had epilepsy. And so we lost her in 2016, and that was really hard. But I know that she would be super happy to know that Pink Umbrella exists. So that's where Pink comes from. It's just an homage to her and all of the students who are like her. She told me once that theater was the only place where she could be me. And I want to make sure that we continue to create a space where people feel like they can be their authentic selves, because that's really important. Umbrella comes from a festival that I attended in 2018, which really is the reason that Pink Umbrella exists. So the festival was called the Big Umbrella Theater, or the Big Umbrella Festival, and it was in New York City. And I went for 3 days. And there is where I learned about a theater genre that's called sensory immersive theater. And it's theater that is actually where the actors are in the audiences of young people who identify with a disability. And the young people in the audiences are playing musical instruments, and they're blowing bubbles, and they're just having a blast right along with the actors. And I thought when I was there that Milwaukee needed this kind of theater as well. And so we are working on shows and classes that engage all of the senses. So Umbrella is an homage to that life-changing experience for me, and is just a really good symbol of that safety, and that everybody has a place under the umbrella. So that's the story of why we're named Pink Umbrella.
And so if people who are watching this podcast have seen the production sign, which was a production from Pink Umbrella. It had these. We were an audience member would be given a wand bell. What would you call that?
They would be given a what?
Like remember, like the thing where you had the stick and was.
Oh yeah. So when we did, yeah, absolutely. So like one of the ways that we engaged the audience members in our very first production, which was called Shine, everybody received a wand that had like ribbons on it, and it had like a little bell on it, so it made noise. And the actor on stage also had one. It was much larger um, for them, but like they pulled out the wand, and the whole audience pulled out their wands, and then the audience did the choreography with the wand, same as the actors on stage. So yes, that is one example of sensory immersive theater in the way that we're implementing it.
And my fourth question here is, how can people get involved with Pink Umbrella?
Sure. So we have a couple of different ways that people are involved in our company right now. We have traditional theater classes, acting, musical theater, improv, and playwriting, those kinds of things for ages 8 through adult. And then as mentioned, we're a professional theater company. So when you hit 18, you can audition to be in the shows that we're doing, and then you get a paycheck at the end of the time together. And so right now, those are the two ways for people to become involved. Our classes we have 2 nights of classes that are virtual classes and 2 nights of classes that are in person. Our in-person classes are in the Milwaukee area. And then our virtual classes, obviously you can join from anywhere, and we have some students in different states who don't have a Pink Umbrella theater or a disability theater in their community, so they come and they hang out with us online.
I just would like to say that for the people watching this, I have actually been a part of these things, and also a production thing, Alice in Wonderland themed fundraiser, which I did not get to be a part of because I got COVID. But anyways, besides the point, a person named Brian, who was Katie's husband, filled in for me, and they just had everybody aware of my absence due to COVID. Why did I have to get COVID? Why?
No, I know. But that's a good point that you made up, that you brought up, is that the other performance opportunities do come up throughout the year for our fundraisers, and those are unpaid, and those are for everybody. So while Jude is obviously under the age of 18, we cast Jude in our Alice in Wonderland fundraiser called the Tea Party this June, and we had actors as young as 12, I think, and then as old as like 35. And they all did a little play together for the fundraiser. And then we also have another fundraiser. And speaking of Emily, in honor of her, we have a scholarship fund. And Emily was a writer, she was a poet. And so there are every March we do a fundraiser for our scholarship fund, and we do poetry, so people can either write poetry or perform poetry or both. And Jude, did you ever do that with us? Were you ever one of the readers for the poetry?
I've never done that. No.
Okay. But that's another way. You bring up just a couple of points that I didn't think of, that those are other ways to perform and get involved at Pink.
And speaking of that, are there any upcoming classes or productions people can be a part of?
Sure. So we actually next week, our fall session ends. So we take a good long break over the holidays, and we will have our next set of classes will start at the end of February. And that information should be up on our website after the new year. So starting in January, we should have all of the information for that. And as I mentioned, we'll have classes from ages 8 through adult And some of them will be virtual and some will be in person. So you can choose whichever one works best for you. And then as far as our shows for 2023, we are actually working on a show right now. There's the theme of that is about OCD, or obsessive compulsive disorder, and the writer has OCD, and so he is writing about his journey in discovering what that is for him, and how he's been working with it and working through it. And then we are also working on a musical for the summer of 23, and that'll go up in August. That production, both of those productions, will be for actors ages 18 and up to participate in. And so we would have information on the website and email this out again in the new year. We should have all of those details sorted by January.
I was just gonna ask if people wanted to like come watch these performances, where would they be, and do they cost anything?
Sure. So the OCD play, we're going to start with a staged reading, and I believe that we're just going to do that one this year virtually, and that would be free to attend. And then the musical in August, that will be in person. We haven't picked a place yet, but we're looking for a place that kind of looks like a castle, because that is where we're leaning towards in writing it. And that is like, our shows do cost money to attend, but the good thing about Pink Umbrella is that we don't ever want finances to be a barrier. So we actually have 3 pricing levels, and the first one is barrier free, and it's $0, and you and anybody can sign up for those tickets at $0. The second tier is called One for Me, Please, and that is a ticket for you. And those tickets could be $5, they could be $25. It depends on like what we're doing and the cost of the show, actually. And then there's a third tier, which is called Pay It Forward, and it's double the cost. And what you're doing is you're donating for somebody else to come. So Pink can be completely free. It can be just a single ticket for you at the one cost. Or if you're able to, then you can buy a ticket for you and buy a ticket for somebody else, or donate a ticket for somebody else. So that's kind of how we structure our ticket prices. Our classes the classes are $20 a class. We tend to meet for either 8 weeks or 10 weeks. And again, those classes we're vendors of CLTS and vendors of IRIS. And if you know what those 2 acronyms mean, then you know what I'm talking about. And then, like I mentioned, we have that scholarship fund in Emily's name. So if finances are an issue or a barrier to you, you can sign up for the scholarship fund, and it's pay what you can. So if the class costs $180 and you can only pay $5, that's what you sign up for the scholarship. And then the scholarship will pick up the rest.
I just want to just have a bit of a testimonial here, a plug, if you will. I attended Sign, and I've also attended a few of Pink Umbrella's classes, and they're really great. And yeah.
Thanks.
Speaking of plugs, is there anything you'd like to plug?
No, I think you've asked me all of the questions, all of the plugging. You did all of that already. So I appreciate that.
Okay.
Good questions.
And that would be the end of this interview. I only have 6 questions written down. So thank you for watching. Support Pink Umbrella. Their website is pinkUmbrellatheater.org.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have any social medias?
We do. We're on Facebook and we're on Instagram.
So Facebook, Instagram, Pink Umbrella Theater, do the things.
Thanks for having me, Jude. It was fun chatting with you.
You're welcome.